Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to the Fragrance Well. If someone were to walk into my house, see my fragrance cabinet, and say, dude, you got all this stuff, what would you suggest I get my nose on here? I got 8 fragrances that I would suggest you gotta try. And this is to you guys as well. If you haven't tried these fragrances, I think they are at least worth getting your nose on. Obviously, that's gonna be based on my opinion. I don't know what your tastes are, but I think these fragrances are awesome. And everybody should at least just get their nose on them. Again, 8 of them here, and they are going to be autumn centered since we are rolling into the autumn season. So that's pretty much the gist of this video. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, to kick it off, it's coming from the House of Dior. This is going to be Fahrenheit Parfum. Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. 2 reasons I would recommend getting your nose on this. Number 1, if you're a fan of the original Fahrenheit, this is a great modernization of the scent. Number 2, if you're not a fan of the original Fahrenheit, then you might actually like this iteration of it because of its modernization. This one is a lot sweeter than the original Fahrenheit. Definitely dialed back that petroleum vibe that is pretty much the main thing that throws a lot of people off to that scent. Still has the spicy characteristic to it, still has the violet, and still has the lavender, but it's a lot more simplified, if you will. Get a little bit of a boozy nature from the scent, still has the woody aspects, and a ton more vanilla, a lot sweeter in general. Not necessarily a sweet scent, just way sweeter than the original Fahrenheit. And all of this comes together to make an awesome autumn season fragrance, in my opinion. One of the best ones from Dior in terms of just being an autumn scent also, in my opinion, outside of those iris fragrances. So once again, coming from Dior, we have got Fahrenheit Parfum. Next one is going to be coming from By Kilian, and this is going to be Old Fashioned. By Kilian, Old Fashioned. So this one here, as the namesake suggests, is a boozy fragrance. Boozy fragrances make great autumn scents, and also I would say are a interesting subject matter in fragrances that I'd say, hey, get your nose on that, because it might be something you're not typically getting your nose on if you're used to the average designer scent, if you will. And this one here, done very well, does remind me of an old fashioned. Kind of has the fruity aspect, or should I say the sweet honeyed, somewhat fruity aspect you might get from an old fashioned. Definitely has the whiskey like aspect, and also it does have the kind of bitter kind of feel that you would get from an old fashioned as well. Scent overall though, basically ambery and boozy with some slight sweet characteristics to it, slight fruity characteristics as well. And by the way, I actually had an old fashioned over this past weekend that reminded me of the style of old fashioned that I think this fragrance is trying to portray, and this smell in general is just great for the autumn season also. So once again, from By Kilian, this is Old Fashioned. Moving on, next one is coming from Naomi Goodsir, and this is Cuir Velours. Naomi Goodsir, Cuir Velours. I said the name wrong the first time. No S on queers. So what is this? This one is a leather fragrance first and foremost. It is a very rich but supple leather, not animalic at all, not smoky or anything like that. Very, very smooth. Quite a bit of boozy notes in this scent as well. Somewhat of an ambery nature. Does have its good amount of sweetness. Base of the scent mainly going to be, I think there's some patchouli in this, and also a collection of incense and resins to kind of round out the rest of this fragrance. This fragrance is very opulent. Perfect for the autumn season. I have been able to wear this in some cooler air, and it smells heavenly in that temperature environment. Really great sillage fragrance, very opulent, very rich, great leather scent with a boozy touch, in my opinion. Once again, from Naomi Goodsir, this is Cuir Velours. All right, the next one's coming from Maison Crivelli. This is Patchouli Magnetik. Maison Crivelli Patchouli Magnetik. Now there's one main reason I would have everybody get their nose on this, and it's because it's a 50-50 scent. This is one of those fragrances where you either like it a lot or you absolutely hate it. And I'm just curious to see anybody that would come and see my collection, what would be their opinion on it. And I would say it's the same for you guys, because if you like this scent, I think you really do love it, and otherwise you just absolutely hate it. So get a sample of it first, please. The scent is not cheap. But yeah, this is a peachy, kind of fruity patchouli fragrance. The patchouli, I find in this to be a little bit more of the leafy kind of patchouli variety, not quite that chocolatey variety, not as earthy overall, but there's a lot of sweeter notes in this, vanillic, maybe tonka bean like, a little bit ambery in nature. And I will say this much, the thing I think throws most people off of this scent is not necessarily the patchouli, it's that peach accord that's in here. That does settle down on the skin. Once you've had this on your skin and it has dried down, that does wither away quite a bit, and the scent becomes a lot more pleasant in my own opinion, even though I don't mind that peachiness. Becomes a little bit just kind of nice and smooth and sweet overall, and it's just really pleasant once it dries down. But again, this one, I'd say get your nose on. You got to try this one just to see if you're on the love camp or the hate camp. Once again, from Mason Crivelli, this is Patchouli Magnetik. All right, guys, next one is coming from Arabian Oud. This is Madawi Gold Edition. Arabian Oud Madawi Gold Edition. Now, Arabian Oud supposedly has the largest unisex fragrance catalog on the entire planet, but out of all of them, this is probably one of the best unisex fragrances to get your nose on, if not the first, whatever you want to call it. This one here is rich and syrupy pineapple with a little bit of spice. Very ambery scent, rather sweet, quite powerful. This is basically a tropical smelling fragrance that works for the cool weather just because of the punch it packs. And man, listen, great date night scent, great evening scent. You can even wear it all day if you want. It doesn't matter. It just smells super good, but I think it kind of serves that purpose of being a really good evening sexy fragrance. That being said, I would have anybody coming and checking out my cabinet get their nose on this scent, especially if I was showing them autumn style fragrances. So once again, from Arabian Oud, this is Madawi Gold Edition. All right, moving on to one coming from Lorenzo Pizzalia. It's Van Py Rhum. Lorenzo Pizzalia, Van Py Rhum. So this one here, another patchouli fragrance, but more of a chocolatey patchouli in nature, a little bit more earthy, but there's a lot of boozy accords in this. Very boozy patchouli scent, supported with quite a bit of vanilla. There's a little bit of a kind of a white blossoms, jasmine kind of feel at the heart of the scent. Might be some other stuff in there too, but yeah. Main thing you're getting from this is boozy patchouli and vanilla. Smells very sexy, very opulent. It's a very dark natured scent, but also meant to have some fun in it, if you will. That one is a good one. Lorenzo Pizzalia, a house that is really gaining steam in the community. I'm really happy with the new success that they are getting, but this is one of those ones you probably are not going to hear about first. Now, I talked about it first on my channel. This is the first one I got from the house, but overall, I don't really see this one. I don't really see this one getting a whole lot of attention, but it is a good one. Definitely don't sleep on it. Get a sample of it. Try this one out. Once again, from Lorenzo Pizzalia, this is Van Py Rhum. Okay guys, we got one coming from Nishane. This is gonna be Papilefiko. Nishane Papilefiko. So this is one I would suggest if you're looking for an everyday fragrance that will really work in the autumn temperatures. This one has very nice, vibrant, balsamic-like spiciness and aromatics. A lot of cardamom in this, a little bit of a lemony citrus feel, loads of clean but pleasant lavender. Doesn't really have that deep lavender funk sometimes you can get. It's a very smooth lavender, and it's just got this kind of bed of balsamic, dry, woody notes, if you will. Really awesome smelling scent. One that is unsung from the house of Nishane. I'll be honest, Justin Copeland was the one who introduced me to this scent. He's the one who kind of pushed it into the community, so I learned about the awesomeness from him, but I'm keeping it going. This scent still deserves more praise than it gets, and I would be more than happy for anybody coming and seeing my collection to get their nose on this one. I think this one is truly special. Once again, from Nishane, this is Papilefiko. All right, guys, last but certainly not least is coming from Thameen London, and that's going to be Carved Oud. Thameen Carved Oud. Now, I easily could have put Tom Ford Oud Wood on this list, but I like this one a little better, so that's why I chose to go with this one. And if you're not aware, this basically smells like oud wood, but a little bit more depth, a little bit more complex, if you will. There's undoubtedly real oud in this one, where oud wood, you know, it could have real oud, it could not have real oud. Both of them make use of cypriol. That's kind of the main thing tying them together. Both of them make use of spice. Both of them have woody bases to them. But this one also adds in quite a bit of patchouli, which I think adds another really interesting facet to the scent. Again, definitely real oud-like characteristics in there. Not necessarily barnyard or fecal or anything like that. It's more of the kind of plant-like resinous woody smell you get from some styles of oud. I don't know if the note breakdown lists the exact type of oud in this one, but I'm not looking at the note breakdown right now. So if it does, then that might give me an indication. But all that being said, really good interpretation of oud wood, in my opinion, in their own way, and much more complex. So that's why I would be more than happy to share and recommend this scent with anyone. If you are a fan of oud wood and are maybe looking for a more interesting, in my opinion, interpretation of it, check out Carved Oud from Thameen. As far as I know, it's their most popular fragrance also. So once again, from Thameen, London, this is Carved Oud. Alright guys, that is going to do it for this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you have got some fragrances that you absolutely want to share with as many of your fragrance buddies as possible, or anybody who's curious about the fragrances that you have. List them down below. I'd be curious to see what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way until the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.